I'll tell you this much, guys. I'm glad there's no weeping angels around here.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Hello, Mora.
Marishka Hugate. I'm Josh.
I'm Paul.
I'm Sapphire, and this is
Gassed Up Geeks. We get together, we have a few laughs, we have a few drinks, and we talk about things geeky, and we bring it to you. Hopefully you find it as entertaining as we find ourselves. In the previous episode, we talked about Doctor Who, and we talked about the history, the Doctor himself, his companions, and the TARDIS. We said we talk about aliens and enemies, and today's the day we're doing that. There have been a lot of different enemies and a lot of different aliens over the years. Cannot list them all. Don't even ask me to try. I'm not going to, because otherwise it will be me sitting here at the computer just jabber, 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 jabber. More so than usual. Shut up. But we can't cover them all. We won't try. But we are going to talk about our favorites. We're going to talk about the ones that scared us. We're going to talk about some of the cool ones that weren't our favorites, and some of the ones that were just, why did you even film that? No! Stop! That was just horrible. Old Who had a lot of great villains and a lot of shabby ones too. The most popular ones are still around today. The Daleks are in both. The Daleks started off as weaponized mutants in a war on the planet of Skaro, created by Davros. On the planet of Mondus, the Cybermen did what the Borg did, kept replacing themselves. And as a result, they became the Cybermen. Many others and all that stuff. But we all have our favorites.
personally, I'm going to have to go with the Starware. I mean, this is a creature that appears out of nowhere, mysteriously arrives at a time when the planet is facing a mass cataclysm, global extinction level event, and basically sits there while mankind builds ships around itself to carry it off to the stars. I mean, it's granted, it's not the whale's fault that mankind immediately started torturing the poor thing.
That's true. I gotta admit, my favorite one from that episode, the Star Whale is taking the Great Britain out. What about the Scottish? They wanted their own. Some things never change. I was just like, yeah. Yeah, that was a dark episode, but what did you think of the Star Whale?
Yeah, it was interesting, and it was great to see. Was it Rose at the time?
Yeah, it was Rose.
Yeah. No. It was Amy.
It's Amy.
We lied.
Okay,
Sig's gonna have a field day.
We're only human. We don't know the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Sorry.
He always says that.
Yeah.
Sounds like children, don't we? And then we say stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, just goes to show how Amy and the compassion of a companion,
Yeah.
just perfectly complements how the Doctor usually has his basis in.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my favorite is always going to be the Master. Because I watched it back in the old Who, and when they introduced the character of the Master, we were talking the classic supervillain. Okay, he wore a black suit that had no collar. It was like the Near Who style, clamped up cut up here. He had the slicked back hair. He had the goatee. He walked around with the black leather gloves, and he was played by the great actor Robert Delgado. And he was created as a counterpoint to the Doctor. It was, here's the Doctor. He travels through space and time, helping people. Here's the Master, another Time Lord who's out to take over the universe. And he came up with some elaborate plans. And they got to the point where they would start to hide him in episodes and they could put out, use makeup or, disguise himself. And he would go by an alias that it turns out, I forget the actual term, but, Latin for master. Dr. So-and-so. And it turns out it's the Master.
Yeah.
The character was so popular that during the Third Doctor's tenure, he appeared in almost every single. The entire year was a case of Doctor versus Master. Unfortunately, they had to stop because Roger Delgado actually died in a car accident while vacationing. So they decided just to end it with that. And rumor has it that they were going to write an episode in which, how could you do this to your own? And then leave it like that. Just like the feels. Cutting off before finding out what you want to say, what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So, and then they brought him back in during the Fourth Doctor's time, where he was sickly and dying, and wanted to steal a new set of regenerations. And then later on, in the Fourth Doctor's time, he was actually able to steal a new body. And so he was able to be the Master again, and the actor Anthony Ailey took over it, and he played it very, ooh, I must kill the Doctor. Kind of thing. So he was the 80s version of a camp supervillain as well. So that was always my favorite. Just also, I love intelligence, and he was incredibly smart. So
As opposed to you, where you're a smartass.
completely and utterly, but I'm not a smartass. I prefer the term intelligent genius. He's going to hit me later. So.
And of course, we definitely can't exclude one species from favorites. I think we can all agree. The Sontarans are just...
Yeah.
I mean, they are comically violent.
That's just
All
it.
hail the potato people.
Yes. That's just it. In the original series, though, they were nothing like that.
Really?
They wore like a black leather outfit, yeah, because that was their spacesuit, that had the dome on top, and they were a clone race. But they were a race bent on domination, but it was more like, we are Shantarans. We will take over your planet. And tried elaborate plans and stuff like that. The thing is, though, and the makeup was like a dome and a potato, but whereas Strax is the potato one. The ones on the original series, they were rotting. It was a darker makeup, it was a deeper eye socket kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, whereas Strax is the potato that you just picked up, maybe a nice healthy yam. The Sontarans on the original series, yeah, no, you'd put that back going, I think this is spoiled. So they tried to make it more creepier, more devious and all that stuff, and just, the new version turned out to be a lot funnier.
And I mean, that chant of theirs when they're going into battle.
Santara! 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 Santara!
This is why I'm the funny one. They're the potato ones.
You can't help but laugh at that.
No offense to Davies or Moffat, but I personally think that when they created the Sontarans for the second time around, they became like the Ferengi.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, on Star Trek Next Generation, the Ferengi were meant to be the main bad guys, but they bounced around like creepy little apes, and
Everyone
everybody
just laughed at
laughed at them. So it's like, okay, so that's when they started changing them into merchants and things like that. Sontarans on the New Who, yeah, the whole Santar Ha, and the fact they were shorter than everybody. Instead, Tom Baker is a good like 6 foot something, 6'1", 6'2" kind of thing, and the Sontarans towered over him. And now in David Tennant's, they're coming up to David Tennant, who's like about 5'10", and they basically come up to his nipples. And the chanting and all that stuff, yeah, just no, it became a comedic thing.
Yeah.
It's just, but we still love them because they gave us Strax. And Strax, as part of the Paternoster gang, my favorite for him, where's Strax? He's on vacation. I wish he'd never found that place. Where is he? Getting into fistfights in Glasgow. And it's like, yeah, I just, take this, you're going to have to knock me out. Harder. All right.
That's going to take a while.
Yeah, the fact that they also made them a bit stupid and with Strax, the one with the big head, that's hair. Oh. Yeah, and the fact that you can't tell the difference between boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always found that one hilarious.
Oh yeah, definitely. So those are our favorites. Now the question is, who did you find the scariest?
Oh boy. I am going to have to say for the scariest is the Weeping Angels. I mean, they are unstoppable, unkillable.
No, they're stoppable. You'll never win now!
Yeah, but I mean, without
Zero sunglasses.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, and they would be observing themselves at the same time.
We think we've found a loophole.
Okay, but
Aviator shade. Buy stock in aviator shades.
Okay, but I mean,
Before the glasses.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from all that, you know, what you're normally carrying around during the day, you can't stop them. You definitely can't kill them.
No.
Well, maybe tossing them into a black hole, but getting that set up to even kill one would be dangerous as hell.
I'm just questioning, because they're made of stone, if you're looking at them, can you get yourself like a big-ass hammer? You know, like we're talking like a war hammer kind of thing. Whack! Whack!
Yeah, but you would also have to know that one is around in advance to make sure you're properly equipped.
That's true. By the time you find out, you're already back in time.
Yeah.
That's the one question I've always had though. If you did chisel away, would they still be the Weeping Angel outside of when you looked at them? So if you changed their face into something else, would they still be the Weeping Angel?
Well, you remember the one episode, I think it was season 7. They know that there's a Weeping Angel in advance on this planet in a crashed ship. And they land, they start searching around, there's a whole friggin' army of them. Their faces all distorted because they've been sitting, decaying for a while. I mean, they are still Weeping Angels.
Yeah, but that's due to degradation and not like an actual change to them.
Yeah. Don't forget though, it is really hard because on the episode when we say goodbye to the pawns, moment of silence.
Non padre filo Spirito Santo.
That burns! Don't do that! I know, when we said goodbye to the pawns, that was also the episode in which Weeping Angel was being kept chained. And when it got a hold of River Song, it wasn't easy to cut her loose. So.
Yeah.
Alright. Who do you always think was the scariest?
I would have to go with the Empty Child, really.
Are you my mommy?
Are you my mommy? Are you my mommy? Fun note, I was down at a little area of Toronto called Kensington Market one day. Going around, there's an army surplus place. They had the gas masks. I was with my son. I was like, hey son, what? Are you my mommy? Oh, there was, Dad, don't do that! Yeah, no, but that's just one of the great things about it. Shows how great the writing is.
Yeah.
The Empty Child was in 2 episodes, a 2-parter, in 2005. Here we are 12 years later, and it's still scary as hell to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the defining moment for Eccleston, like I said last time. But it's still really good writing. You just get sucked right into it.
It did, yeah. It did, absolutely. So for me, the scariest, I know a lot of people, especially nowadays, are going to say this is stupid, but as a small child in Scotland, it is a rite of passage to end up hiding behind the couch when the Daleks come out. When I was a kid, they just creeped the hell out of me. See this big metal thing with the eye stalk and the flipping, like the reversing of the photography, like creating a negative, when the laser blast went off. It creeped me the fuck out! Exterminate! Because that's your first time also hearing this, like, unearthly voice, hearing that, reverb device that they use. Scared the shit out of me. This thing's coming at me, shooting laser beams. I wasn't even worried about the whisk on the side. And then speaking this unholy voice, almost every kid in Scotland and England and Ireland and Wales, anybody who grew up watching the BBC, from before my birth and up to, like, say, 1983, hid behind the couch when them damn Daleks came out.
Well, with the old Who, like, okay, I'm not familiar with Old Who, so please feel free to correct me.
Oh, I will.
Didn't they need, like, preset pathways to move around on in order to maintain power supply?
Well, no, they didn't need that. They were like basically an internal thing. In the Fourth Doctor's era, they what the writers did was they created an episode called Genesis of the Daleks.
Okay.
And so you found out, like I was saying earlier, Davros was basically a mad scientist who was confined to a chair, and the base of it looked like the base of Daleks. He had an electronic eye and only had use of one hand, so like his eyes were always closed. And so he would move around, but he was like, he had an assistant, he had his laboratory, and he was like, to him, genocide in the name of science was brilliant, wonderful. It was on the planet Skaro, and his race was at war with another race, and one of those races, I can't remember which, I think his race were called the Khaleds, which backwards is Dalek.
Yeah.
And that's how they got their name. He actually was going to call them something else, and then the doctor goes, oh my god, it's a Dalek. And Davros was like, Dalek? I like that name. And that's what we're going to call them. It's like, great, you just named your enemies, Doctor. So, but they explained how it was, because like one of the biggest jokes was the fact that inside the Dalek costume was a guy on a tricycle. The area on the front that has mesh and the whisk and the laser beam, that's where he could see through. And so then when he would like, be riding on the tricycle and doing this to turn it and then operate the stock, the eye stock. So he's like, scooting around underneath this thing and all that. And, the big joke for a lot of years was, how did you defeat a Dalek? Stairs. Because I still have on my computer a picture of a Dalek in front of the stairs. Fuck. That's it. Just fuck.
Of course, then we get New Who, Chris Eccleston. It was like the 4th or 5th episode. He finds that Dalek chained up in this
the episode
museum
Dalek,
preservation
the owner of the internet, yeah.
And and they're seeing this Dalek at the bottom of the stairs. Everyone's laughing like, ha ha, he can't get up here. Starts levitating. Shit!
Yeah, but no, they actually did that long before, back in Old Who as well.
Okay.
I believe the series was called Remembrance of the Daleks. It was during Sylvester McCoy's time. And the same thing happens. It's like, he can't do it. And then all of a sudden, and you see it start, it was the old, like, okay, here's the filming of the Dalek on the ground. Right, now superimpose that over an empty shot. And move it up, like the old CGI, you can still see the pixelated line on the outside.
Yeah.
They started doing that. Or in some cases, they had the casing, and they were able to hide the wire, and just basically pull it up the stairs, so that way it was a live action shot of it appearing almost at the top of the stairs. But you wouldn't see it go, and up, off we go. So yeah, they took care of that even back then. So.
And this shows how popular the Daleks are, that we can continue on about them for 5 minutes solid, no problem. But everything else is 2 minutes max.
So yeah, well that's it. I mean, they are the epitomal character. To have the Doctor, it's like, there was an episode of, I believe, the Big Bang Theory, when Sheldon Cooper was talking about different costume ideas for him and his girlfriend, and if you looked on the board, it said Doctor Who and Dalek. It's like, he didn't even think of a female companion. He's like, Doctor and Dalek. Well, yeah.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. So those are our favorites. Those are our scariest, but there's been a lot of great characters as well. Okay? You cannot help but talk about the adipose. One of the cutest damn things ever.
Fat gremlin.
Yes.
Not an ounce of evil in them.
No! Especially when you first see it. For those who haven't seen the episode, what's wrong with you? But, basically, a pound of fat leaves your body and becomes the adipose. This little 1 kilogram of fat. Kilogram, not pound. Okay, yeah, he's right. This little kilogram of fat, and in the beginning of the episode, when that starts to happen, you actually see the glob of fat come out, get up, and it goes to go out the window, and just goes, Okay, like how can you be scared of this little thing smiling at you going, and making like little squirmy noises?
I wouldn't be afraid. I'd be like, don't go, come back.
Yeah, I want to hug you. I'm not going to try to absorb you. Take friends. Absolutely. Take about 30 kilograms more. Yes. Yeah. I'll take you to the park. We'll go on bike rides together. No, not the treadmill. I don't want you losing weight. No. But I mean, they're just so absolutely adorable. And people are, you can actually buy one as a stress doll. A stress
Really?
doll. Yeah, you can buy them. And they also have them as, this is not a plug, Funko Pops as well. So, but some people actually made their own as well. And my ex-wife, she has a plush one. So she can sit there and squeeze it all she wants and all that stuff. They're just adorable!
Oh, they are, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know you've got a
this
market.
coming from Sapphire.
Yes. He's more cynical than I am sober.
People often compare me to Peter Capaldi in many respects.
No, not that attractive.
No. You're not that interesting. But yeah, no. So I mean, those are a great character. Who's another one of your favorites? Who just pops up in your head?
Oh, the silence.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
How scary is that?
Yeah.
You know why we know why we didn't mention them? We forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot what. What?
Huh?
Hey, wait a minute. Sorry.
What are these black marks here?
Yeah, modeled after Edward Monk's The Scream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah,
I can see it, yeah.
well, I would hope so because that was the point.
Well, it's weird because they weren't necessarily evil. They just had an agenda. And it was also a rogue faction.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And that's what makes them so interesting because it's like you see this and you think, oh my god, this race of aliens is so evil and this and that, and then they go farther with it.
They branched out from the original church. Always the bloody militants is the damn problem. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, how could we not talk about the silence? That's just ridiculous. You know, we now have to take a moment of silence first, not talking about the silence.
Sorry, what?
What were we talking about?
Daleks. Yeah.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
Daleks.
So the Daleks.
Yeah. Then there's the Cybermen. You know, what was really cool is for the last season that just ended of Peter Capaldi, they introduced Cybermen as the bad guys and the Master. Spoilers! But the cool thing was that when David Tennant's Cybermen came in, they were Cybermen from another dimension. The Cybermen of this dimension hadn't been introduced yet. This year,
Okay, right. Yeah.
when Capaldi's like, you know, trying to find out what planet, and it's the planet of Mondus. That was the original home of the Cybermen. They were, like we said earlier, just like the Borg. To help cure themselves of diseases and sickness and damage, they started replacing themselves little bit by little bit. And then they ended up becoming what we now call the Cybermen because they were replaced so much.
Okay.
Yeah, when I heard they were gonna go back to original Cybermen and like the original costumes, like how are they gonna do this? Then I saw the episode and I'm just like, okay, I guess I trust them again.
Yeah, because I mean they really modernized it with the updating for the other dimension Cybermen and having, taking out the brain, and so it looked like modern sci-fi should.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because of the fact that the original Cybermen were originally the very first ones was basically a whole bunch of white gauze bandages and a silly helmet with a miner's hat and black eyeliner. So it's like, yeah, you look at pictures of that and you're like, I've seen scary things like that in the hospital today, and I'm not even a doctor or a nurse. We are definitely a lot more. What was scary back then is not as scary as it is now. So the fact that they actually brought back Mondasian Cybermen, having them on the planet and having them in this area and not know what's going on and finding it out, that was a great way to bring that back.
Very cool.
So, absolutely.
And we're not gonna do the other spoiler about that episode too.
No.
So
No. I admit I haven't got that far yet.
We told you before, he's a newbie. By the time of this recording, he might actually be there because he's getting close. Just expect at the end of this little video, him going, "Holy shit!" So, but
editor's note. What the fuck?
followed by Sig saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" So, but one other thing we got to talk about. We talked about the Centaurs, but we got to say the Silurians as well, just because of the Paranusta gang. We mentioned Strax, but how can we forget Jenny and Madame Vastra?
Yeah.
Best line, in my opinion, of hers. She comes back and she solved the problem with Jack the Ripper. How was he? A little chewy. Yeah, I thought that too. I just didn't want to admit it. Yeah, and the way they have the three of them together, the actors and actresses who play it, it's a fun. A lot of people said they'd love to see a spin-off of them three. Just based on the Capaldi's first episode alone, I was just like, more. Must see more of that.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job on the casting and screenwriting for that. You could definitely
You hear that? Spin off.
Yeah, you
They're
definitely
not
got
dead.
you definitely got the feeling
They were a team.
that they worked together. They'd been together for a while. Yeah, they jabbed at each other on occasion. The Centauran jabbing at everyone more than anyone else.
Well, I mean, come on. Who's going to actually believe that three friends who've known each other for a long time and hung out together don't take little jabs at each other?
Bitch.
1 second.
Anyhow, and now back to our regularly scheduled insanity. So, there we go. There's a lot of the great villains and a lot of great enemies and a lot of great species of Doctor Who. Are there any that you think we missed? Is there anything we should have brought up? Are there any that you're screaming at us? Why didn't you mention them? Let us know.
Post them in the comments.
Down there.
No, somewhere there.
That's not nice! Don't call Sapphire that! Shame on you!
Oh, yeah, no.
Don't! You don't want to hear the rest. No. Until next time, allons-y!
Peace among worlds.
Game long and prosper.
Guys, I lost. Ah! Fuck yes! Hey everybody out there in Fandom Land, if you're having fun with the Gassed Up Geeks, follow us online. We're everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on Instagram. Cheers!